Everybody, it is Cinnamon Cooney, your art Sherpa, and today I'm going to show you step by step how you can paint this adorable bunny in clover on acrylic with acrylic on canvas. I'm going to explain to you everything you need to know. So if you're new to painting or getting back into painting, this is something you're going to be able to really achieve at home. To help me in that goal is my husband, John.
Hey guys.
We sometimes refer to him as Stunt Hands, and what he does is he makes sure that you guys from your home, from your phone, wherever you're at watching, can see every part of the painting action. We have robotic cameras. He switches them. He zooms in. That way you never miss out on a color mix or a brush stroke or a technique or anything. Now, I'm very excited about today. I have wanted to paint this particular bunny for a very long time. I actually licensed this image a while ago and have just been like, when will I paint this fuzzy bunny? And then I was like, oh, is he too funny? Because I know how he's going to be like kind of crazy when he gets painted. And then I was like, we got to do it because it's going to be so much fun for all of us. Yeah. If you check the description below, right, there is going to be a link to our website. And on the website right now is a traceable because I don't expect you to be able to draw. There's also a gridded reference. You can do the gridding in with us if you'd like to try that. But either way, you're good with either. And there's even, I included a step-by-step on how to draw the bunny. I'm not going to do that every single video, but I had a little time to do that for today. So I did it, and I think you guys are going to like it. We'll also try to do, I forgot my phone over here. I would normally try to do a step-by-step, but I forgot my phone, so maybe John will find it for me.
Maybe I'll find it.
And we'll try to get a step-by-step going of this from the thing. Are you guys ready to jump in?
I think so.
All right, let's get this going. So here's our reference, right? So we see Mr. Cutie Pants with his blue eyes and his crazy hair. I think we all need a bunny like this in our lives, in my opinion. On here, I have a 9x12 surface. I have watercolor pencil wishes written on here. These are kind of like intentions or thoughts. We do these from our community and kind of like the idea is to put some positivity into the universe. So Dan LSBJ is wishing for healing for her son. Misty is wishing that little brush, June, gets healing and a really great recovery, a very successful medical treatment. Linda is healing for her post-op. Everybody's like, just like, let's get the healing over with. Healing for Linda. Janae had a very sweet wish for better mental health care for services, which I think is something as a species we could work on a little more, like even focusing on mental wellness, the way we focus on physical wellness. Just the idea there are things that we can do to take care of that. And I think there's more of that we could use. Tracy for strength, to be there for her mom, and support for her to be strong enough to go through what she's facing. So these are our wonderful positive wishes. Our color palette today is starting right here. Quinacridone magenta, phthalo green, phthalo blue, ultramarine blue, yellow ochre, cad yellow, cad red, burnt sienna, titanium white, Mars black, and I'm going to be using some zinc white, tint white, mixing white. It could be different things in different lines, but it's all essentially the same thing, which is a very nice transparent white. Lets us do some of these fuzzy backgrounds. To get started, I'm going to take a big chunky brush. I'm going to get a little water on it, and I'm going to go ahead and brush all these wishes into the surface.
Okay, I'm going to take a look for your pencil.
Because I don't,
I'm going to look for your phone.
Oh, okay. I don't want, it should be by my computer. I usually drag it in by my computer. If I didn't, then I super apologize. So just putting those there. And that just keeps those words from, even though it's watercolor pencil and it's safe under acrylic, if I leave the intense pigmentation there, those words or letters could bleed through the paint. And so that's why I brush it in. But this isn't a necessary part of painting. However, I have noticed that sometimes a little bit of this wet before I start does help the overall surface. I don't know if John has found my phone. So if he has not, nope, not nowhere. Okay. You know, it's okay. We'll do it without the phone today. No step-by-steps, guys. Sorry. So when I've got this going, I'm going to begin with one of my favorite brushes, and I'm going to talk about the options you have. Okay? So what we have here are, these are kind of like a domed mop and a mop, and they come in synthetic and natural hair. I really love this this 1-inch ultimate varnish. I know it says ultimate varnish. It's just a good synthetic oval mop that does this technique really well. This is also a really nice goat hair, and this is a nice mix of goat and synthetic. My issue with these is that the hair tends, like, you pull that out, can break off, can shed, can get into your paint. I don't really like that, so I tend to stay synthetic on it. And really any of the naturals will give you this trouble. Like if I use my Silverstone to get some nice like fuzzy marks on here, this won't shed, but all hog bristle brushes you have to pre-wash before you use because they can really shed into your piece. These two are going to be really nice tools to use for this. I have found mops, economical at Joann's. I found mops at Michael's. There are these sort of domed mops, but what you're looking for is a synthetic brush, right? That's kind of rounded, and it's rounded at the top and kind of around the sides, and that's going to give you a lot of nice fluffy blend. I have lots of videos on this. I'm doing this because I want to show you guys how we do these sort of soft, out of focus backgrounds. I'm going to get my brush a little bit damp. I don't want it too damp. I'm going to pull the extra moisture out of it. And let's start with a bit of our background. So I'm going to take a little bit of my burnt sienna and a smidge, look at that, of my Mars Black. And up here in the top, I'm going to begin to just brush in a little bit of out of focus background. And you can see the nature of this brush makes a very soft, diffused effect. I can always rinse it out, but I do want to make sure I don't allow the moisture to accumulate in that. One of the things you'll notice if you're doing a goat mop, which has been highly recommended, what I'll say my issue with that is only this. They tend to hold a lot of water and they shed. But they're good brushes. I am not at all implying that mops are not good brushes. While my brush is still a little bit dirty, I'm going to go ahead and get a little of my cad yellow into this mix. Maybe even some of my tint white. And I'm going to begin to work some of these gold values that we have in the background into here. And can you see how completely soft and blended that all is? Soft and blended. It's okay, babe. Is it just like lost to the ether? I'm so sorry. So I'm going to get a little bit. I'm sure I could, like, if I walked out to look for it, I'm sure I could find it like 2 seconds, but it's so tough to figure out where somebody else put their phone.
That's okay. I put children on it.
Oh, okay. They're pretty smart. And you looked around my computer, right?
I did. I even called it.
Wow. Do you think I left it in the car?
That's
for
a
when
good
we got
question.
coffee?
Could
That
be.
seems like a me thing to do. I am adding marriage is where your wife loses your phone and it's like, this is just part of our lives. I'm using the zinc white because you can see it does lighten without changing the color on my brush. Every once in a while, I like to rinse out as I'm going through kind of getting this little background. Isn't that pretty and out of focus? It's kind of fun to do these little bokeh effects. I like it a lot. We've got a lot of green. I am going to take some of this green and a little burnt sienna to start. They kind of neutralize each other. A little mist if I need to, a little bit of water. You can see that that helps its blends. And go like this. And if I'm I hear something. I'm going to say that one of my kids found it.
Probably.
I'm going to put my hand through the hole. Thank you. On there. My brilliant children found it. Now, sometimes I've got to pull extra moisture out. And what you're seeing here is like I get a little bit of lines in there. I've either got to dry my brush out with a towel and come back and lightly blend these areas in, or I've got to get a second dry brush to work that effect. As you see as I'm coming across, it actually just does a beautiful job, I feel, of beginning this nice, lovely blend effect. It is one of my favorite tools. I'm getting a little more yellow on here. Working that right in. Like you do. Nice bit of yellow. See that more kind of focused yellow?
Mm-hmm.
Just working that right there. It's fun to do this. I highly recommend adding a mop, a good one, to your paint bucket because they just do such a nice effect. So nice. I'll take a little picture there because as we're going, we've got a couple layers on this to do. I really, really wanted to show you how to get the focus out of focus effect. How is everybody doing today?
Good. This is a nice little event here. You know, everybody's super excited about bunnies.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I'm excited about the bunnies. I'm into this bunny. I love all these missed calls from my family.
1 o'clock in the afternoon.
My last book on tape, all the stuff that I've got going on my phone. My phone is like such a part of my life. You guys have no idea.
There's Cinnamon taking a picture.
There's me taking a picture so you guys can have a step-by-step. The reason I do these, step one, is so that when you guys are painting along, especially on something where there's maybe some complication to the design or the image, these step-by-steps do help you anchor where you're at in a piece. So all the layers aren't so overwhelming. That's why I bother. That's why my family is so sweet and supportive to find my missing phone. There we go, right?
Mm-hmm.
Kind of layer one on this effect. I find to get that fully kind of integrated, realized background, it's going to take a couple layers. So I'm going to dry this.
Okay.
John's going to breathe easy because phone has been found and emergencies are done. And he'll say hi to you guys.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, there you go. There's the button I was looking for. So, hey, guys. It's really nice to see y'all. Got a nice big crowd of people here today on a lovely Saturday afternoon. So thank you guys for joining us. We really appreciate it. It's always really nice to have a big group of your friends come together and paint on a Saturday. I mean, it's kind of cool. So thank you guys for coming, being part of our lives, being part of our art family, and doing this fun, crazy stuff with us. And in the case of today, make sure that when you're drying your surface, you thoroughly dry it between layers. That way, you'll see her reaching up there and rubbing her hand on that. That's to make sure that it isn't tacky, or that the surface is fully dry. That way, when you're bringing your brush across the surface, it doesn't create unnecessary drag or friction because the surface isn't completely dry.
Yes.
So
it's so good. I love John's color shift talk. Or was today color shift?
Not really color shift, just about talking about stuff. I was saying,
stuff,
you gotta thoroughly dry your surface. That way it doesn't create unnecessary drag.
Well, the other thing this first layer of acrylic paint does for you is it creates an even nicer surface for you to paint on. So a lot of times we'll do an acrylic ground or we'll do a treatment at the beginning of a piece. And what that's going to do is make sure that as you're painting along, the paint is going to blend better and work over it. Acrylic loves to stick to acrylic, is what it really is. I'm going to continue on, and I'm going to go back and kind of get the depth and, drama that I have going on in the painting. So I'm going to get a little bit of my burnt sienna and a little more Mars black this time. And I'm going to come and start the second layer because one of the things you might have noticed is the background had quite a lot of depth to it.
It really does.
And sometimes in painting, to get an effect, you've just got to kind of align yourself to the fact that you will need to do layers.
Layers are happening.
Layers are coming. You are going to be involved in layers. But you can see as we continue this wonderful layering, a lot of good, yummy, terrific stuff starts to happen. And who doesn't want yummy, terrific stuff to start to happen? See how that just kind of builds up and starts getting the depth that we were looking for? A lot of times we think about, should I be painting oils? Should I be painting acrylic? Should I be painting watercolor? Especially if you're a beginner. And one of the things I'm going to say is that they're all wonderful media. I like acrylics or watercolors for beginners because the drying times on this are so short that you can learn a technique, and if it takes you a minute, you can do it again, you can do it again. You don't got to wait a month between things. It's just one of those mediums that will let you kind of get into this effect early, and then you can always expand it into other painting products. People often forget that, hey, this will work with other painting products. I'm going to go ahead and get a little of my cad yellow and my yellow ochre together. They kind of make a nice halftone. And I don't know if you noticed there's that sort of yellow banding behind there. So I had done a bright yellow band, and now I'm coming here and kind of neutralizing that a bit as I'm going back. And there's our little yellow band, looking even better. I think you guys are going to be shocked at how great this comes out.
I really like how the bokeh is coming together on this.
I do have enough paintings with this brush where, I should probably create a playlist like paintings that use this brush, but you can use this in almost any blended anything. So even if somebody doesn't call for it, it can still be useful for you, because if you know how to use it, you'll get the most out of it. So I took a little burnt sienna, a little Mars black, and a little phthalo green. And I'm going to come here and kind of put in this deeper value that we saw, right? This one had a nice deep value. We want to make sure that that is sort of in the same spot, doing its little thing. I can always come in with just the corner of my brush and soften anything. Coming forward, let's get right into the green, burnt sienna, and the green. Who doesn't love that? I don't know. I'm sure people, but not us. We love it.
Yeah, everybody here is loving it.
And we're going to just continue that on. And you can see that we are just softening. And this is still giving us some very soft lines. And I'll continue to pull this forward, just because there's some nice depth here that we want to work over. And the depth of that green is super useful. I may come in and get some cad yellow and zinc white to start these back soft out of focus clovers. You hear me doing that?
I do.
Now, obviously, we don't have so many where the bunny's going to be, so you don't have to focus too much on doing that, where you're pretty sure you're going to have a bunny. But I'm not using just the pure white. And this is another reason why I like to have some tint white into my zinc white into my paint box, because this transparent white is very different than titanium white. I have a whole series of videos about paint colors, and one of them I just talk about the color white. Look at our distant little... How great is that? That's doable. Kind of starts to look like his little background, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Now, anything I want to soften, it's a great time to grab it now. Like if I want to come in with these two and a little bit of... And so I'm kind of not really dry brushing, but softly brushing, dusting, or blushing. That would be another way of looking at it through here. Just refining that focus, because I don't want anything that's too hard of an edge. And so that's how I can create a really powerful out of focus background with acrylic paint. And I haven't even pulled any blending medium into it, have I? Got a little excited and grabbed the wrong paint. But it's okay, because I just get a damp brush. And look what happens when I get a damp brush. It just gets powerful. A little bit of that. Kind of a brighter green. Just a couple pops, a few places. I know I'm being fussy, but sometimes the extra time we spend in these areas has big payoff later.
I don't know. Get on with the bokeh, and I want to see the bunny.
You want to? Is that what everyone's saying? Get on to the bunny?
I'm just being impatient.
Oh, okay. Everyone's like, just get to the bunny. I'll just do the bunny. I don't want to kidnap everybody.
It's just me.
Is it just you?
Just me.
It's only you if they're like, John, no.
Want to see the bunny.
I want to see the bunny too. The bunny's going to be the fun part to paint. It's the reward for being good. Oh, look at that.
I can't see you going, no, the bunny's going to be the worst part. Everyone's going to be a horrible time. Don't paint the bunny. Just go. You're not going to like it. I don't think that's what's going to happen, though.
I can't sip my coffee and dry at the same time.
Can't? I can. See, you can dry that surface, and I can sip my coffee just fine. See? See, just works just fine. So I don't know what she has to worry about. So if you guys are going to paint your surface or dry your surfaces at home, and you're going to use a hairdryer, make sure you use it on the lowest heat setting because heat is not good for paint. And it causes color shift and all sorts of stuff like that. You've heard me talk about this. It's not the end of the world, but heat does not good for plastics. It causes them to soften and do all sorts of... Just keep it on the lowest heat setting, and you'll be fine.
Looking good. Oh, I got to take a picture.
You take a picture.
How's everybody doing
You're doing
today?
good. This is awesome. I think
so appreciate everyone being in. I know we had some technical issues getting here today, and I so appreciated everybody's support. Yep. Sometimes these live...
You got a dirty phone.
Huh?
Your phone is dirty.
Yeah, it is.
Take
yes,
your
very,
pictures.
very. Always.
See,
my phone's always dirty. For a while there, I was like, where did I get this out of focus filter? And then I realized, no, I just have dirt on my lens.
Dude.
For the next part, we're going to use the gridding method. Now, this would be the stage. If you're going to use the traceable, that's when you would use the tracing method to put it on. And you may just be waiting for us a second if you're painting along live. If you're doing the gridding method, this is when we're going to kind of come get our groove on. Mm-hmm. And how we do that is we make a mark. This one is a 1 inch by 1 inch. So we're going to every inch come along, making a mark and painting. The reason we didn't time lapse this one is just because there was a lot of painting to do underneath. Like a lot. So I was like, that's too much to ask people to guess on a time lapse. This is a Dritz chalking tool. I thought I had it in my description before, but I guess it had the old chalk in there.
Yeah.
But I updated this one to make sure. They should not be expensive. I just say this because I have Amazon affiliate links, and those are great. And if it's a good deal on Amazon and you like you some Amazon, awesome, use it. But make sure that the prices you see are fair market prices.
Gotcha.
Because they've got some algorithm that'll raise the price if everybody's interested in it. And I think the price should be the price.
Price should be the price.
That's the kind of consumer I am. I think the price should be the price. My sort of 1 inch marking. 1 inch marking-ish. Within a centimeter, right? Yeah. Actually, probably millimeter. Not so big as a centimeter. My daughter was like, this is a small charm. It's only 16 centimeters. I'm like, that's 16 centimeters. That's not small. That thing is honking huge. It will not fit on your nail. So when I have that side in the way I want it, I just come through here and do the same thing. I make a little mark every 1 inch or so and mark across the canvas. Hey, sweetheart. I'm hearing so much chatter from up front.
Go check on them.
Thank you so much.
All right.
There's a lot of chatter from the peanut gallery. So I'm just going to come through and just mark this out. That's all I'm doing. Even chalk, though, sometimes will kind of resist acrylic paint. And so that's one of the other reasons that I like to kind of use this particular one is it has a very soft chalk. No wax in it or anything. It's just very soft. And also I can sharpen this if I need to.
Mm-hmm.
I like that feature as well. So gridding, now you've seen it done. I include some software links in my descriptions. One is a place where you can grid differently, and another one so that you can resize your images. So I don't expect you guys to know how to do that. Sometimes I get a little off my square and I have to redo that. Now the brown is at the top, right? And I find it's helpful to match the reference and mark your squares going across. So instead of trying to just guesstimate like what row you're in, you can be like, oh, it's row 9 or it's row 10. And especially like if one gets a little like off center, I do kind of, it helps me stay on track because I can wander rows and end up with very strange results. So effort to not do that, I do this. This process basically works that what we do is we just draw what we have in the square. We don't try to draw everything, we just draw what we have in the square. So if I'm on square 4 over here on the top row, I'm working on the ear. I know that all I've got to do is draw this little bisecting line right here. The line continues to kind of curve down here and then back in. Slight, but it's there. Comes down into this square. Oh, just a quarter of an inch. Not a huge amount. Now, this line sort of comes forward, but does disappear a bit into the fur here. And the ear does thicken. Now, this is all talked about in the step-by-step drawing element, but this way you've got, you know, this other sort of sight of it. I love ears that are facing away because they have some interesting lines to them. Bunny ears especially. We don't go too far in because he's got a lot of fur.
Yeah.
Interestingly enough, I'm not going to draw the outer edges of his fur. I'm going to kind of do big like areas, like just some little suggestions, but I want to exaggerate this fluff. I am. It's happening. Now, in between 6 and 5 here, I'm going to start the line of the top of his face. And this is such a great part of the reference because it really lets us capture his little shape of face much more easily. If ever that's been super hard for you to do. Now, it's an interesting thing. You're seeing me make this straight line down, and you might wonder why. That's because I'm looking at the underneath bone structure, and I can tell that that's sort of what's happening there. Yeah, I'm going to be hiding a lot of stuff with fluff, but it's good to know where some of the hard lines are for Mr. Bun Bun. Now we've got a bit of a nose line here, as you can see. I love his, like, he's got this sort of almost open mouth shock face where he's like, he's been super surprised by something like, I don't know. He saw something in his little bunny world he's never seen before, right? Like, so maybe a great bunny compilation. He's like, I didn't even know bunnies could do that. But he has this not afraid, but just surprised look. And I like that. I didn't want to draw something that just looked afraid because that isn't going to give you a sense of joy in your home, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's not going to be fun to look at a wall. The terrified bunny.
The shocked bunny's okay, though.
Surprised bunny is going to be perfectly fine. And especially with his level of fluff, we're going to really enjoy everything about what's going on with him. I'm going to bring that around here a bit. And it does sort of curve here. Where are we going to curve it to? So, I'd say it's maybe even in the 6. This kind of comes here and then goes past a bit into this 5 range. So that's kind of where some fluff will go. But for the purposes of where his little bunny jaw is, I'm going to have it be there. And then we've got a bit of a shadow here. Now his eye is right here, kind of close and in the middle space of number 4. So like top 5, horizontal 4. Gonna go ahead and just draw his wonderful little eye shape, which I very much enjoy. Now, coming off here, maybe all the way almost into 2, right? Kind of comes down. I'm just kind of giving myself an idea where fluff might go. Down into 6. Coming up into that. That's how much fluff we're contending with. That's a lot of fluff, guys.
Yeah.
We're going to exaggerate the fluff. I'm just saying that there's a lot of fluff to be had. Here's some more fluff. It's interesting when you draw for painting on something, a lot of times you're drawing completely different stuff than you'd think. It's very different than just drawing. Not the same thing, because you just want contours and block shapes and general information. You don't need all the information. Like you might tell yourself, oh, hey, I think he's got a little marking that comes up here and goes like that in white. You might tell yourself that. And you might tell yourself that here, this little white marking kind of comes out this way and feathers out into that. I might even talk a little bit about the white here, right? Where the white marking is. But all the rest of that is brown. Now, interestingly enough, really through here, we have another little bit of fur. Strange chalk in, isn't it?
Yeah.
Very strange. Your Traceable has a lot more visual information on it than this, and that's because I like to give a little more in Traceables. But for the purposes of gridding it in, this is all I really need. Ooh, it's 11:11 on my phone. That means that good things are happening. Nope. Universe got me. All right. Looking good in the neighborhood. How are we liking that?
Good. It's looking really good.
Do we have any questions before we move on from this section of the grid?
Over here. Everyone was pretty much enjoying this. You know, they've got a really good crowd here, and everyone loves the fluffy bunny, is what I would say.
I love a fluffy bunny.
Yeah.
We all love a fluffy bunny. I love a fluffy bunny. Bunnies are so wonderful. This brush might actually stay in the world because I think it's going to make a really great fur. I do at some point. I think we're going to do some stuff. So I'm going to keep this aside. I may still get into it. But for right now, I'm going to get out my number 8 cat's tongue brush.
It's funny. Aquabun says that this is the most shocked bunny that I've ever seen, which is funny because we have bunny commentary.
Because he just had you can see why I was like, I must paint this bunny's face. He's so funny, Mr. Bunny. Now, when I'm doing really fuzzy animals, I like to paint the stuff that's very buried in the fur where I know I've got a layer over fur. So one of the things I'm definitely going to want to paint. Oh, hey, babe.
Yep.
They need to go to their rooms.
Okay.
Thank you. He's going to sit there. I'm going to talk a little bit about getting this pink. So I'm going to load up a little pink onto my brush. I might get a bit, maybe even my yellow ochre actually might be really nice. Yes, yellow ochre. I like that. I'm making this inside color. I'm going to tint it with a bit of my transparent white. And I think they heard me and scattered. Gonna come here and just paint in. Oh, that's looking good. So I'm just painting in just the beginning of that ear because I want kind of a rosy feeling inside the ear. Yeah, I've got to do some shadows and we're going to do some value, but it's just so nice to have that there. The other place that we can have some of this wonderful color while we're at it is really here at the pink of the nose, and I'll just start to put this in, you know. Gonna just start to put this in. Just telling myself where that pink is. And I may even blush it out. I'm going to be layering, but it's just good to know that that's going to be there. It's kind of a messy look, but I don't mind. Now I'm going to add some white. This is actually the titanium white into my color. I'm going to come to the outside of the ear, kind of right here. And let's blend that in a bit. And I can pull this down into where I know there's going to be fur. I can get away with that really because I'm going to be layering. I'll let that dry. I've got more layers of that I want to get into. But it can be fun to just start working this right now. I may even grit a little bit of my burnt sienna Kind of exaggerate this shadow some, like you do. When we're painting this stuff, I'm going to come out with, take this color right into my yellow ochre. That's not bad, right? There's more fluff to paint there, but it's just something to think about. You know, we're getting his little ear in. His little cute ear. He's also got some short fur here and around here. Now, if you'll notice, when I'm doing like the layering of fur, I really got to do this in a minute because it needs to layer over this fur, but I can block in some essential values to some big spaces. One of the colors I wanted to work with is take a little bit of my cad yellow into my cad red and kind of make an orange color that I work into my yellow ochre. Isn't that nice?
Mm-hmm.
Let's come here and paint this above the eye. You can always grab a little more red into it if you need it. And come around here. If there's a dark area, go ahead and deepen that value with your burnt sienna. If you need more of it, get it. I needed more.
I know why this bunny's so shocked.
Why is he so shocked? I'm going to add a little bit of that brown right there.
He just came from Fillory with a message from Margot.
Oh my goodness, it is the message bunny! It's Margot's bunny! Secret inside tip! Bunny is forever known as Margot's bunny now. It's the best thing. Whoever said that, thank you. You just...
That was just me.
Oh, was that just you, baby? Thank you. I love that.
I was just sitting here thinking about it. I was like, this is Margot's bunny.
Let's add some zinc white into this where we kind of coming under the eye and we know that we want that to be lighter, right?
Yeah.
So we're not painting in every hair yet. We're just painting in sort of twigs, general value. And then I'm brushing that back. Now the brushing back, have you noticed that kind of creates a feeling?
Mm-hmm.
Even before I have anything.
Makes a fast bunny.
Get some fluffs. Go ahead and take a little of your brown fur. I don't want to take it all the way out to my outer line yet. Not necessary. We're just starting to describe parts of a bunny.
Mm-hmm.
Not all the bunny, parts of a bunny. Get into that a bit. Right here. And I can even get a little more of my zinc white in there. I think the nice zinc white is just really fantastic for this. I will come back with titanium white, but this will give me something to build from. And I can see that there. There also is some, in the distance here, some very soft little brown fur. All right, little brown fur in the distance. Little bokeh though, isn't it? It's a little out of focus. More, his front fur is maybe a little more in focus. So we've got to be thoughtful about that. It's also a bit lighter. And you can see I'm just taking the brush and flicking it to get sort of the fur effect. Flick, 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 flick. One of the things that sometimes we want to do when we're painting hair or fur is we want to paint every hair or every bit of fur, but actually we don't want to do it. Let's start this right here because we want to begin that layer that is the ears. And let's call this a step right here because this is actually an essential beginning, you know? So we're going to get a picture. I might combine them, but that way, try to see here and get here. And we'll go over it again as we need to. So we took a bit of our quinacridone and our yellow ochre and our zinc white, and we made some inside ear. We used some burnt sienna to create a shadow. Then we took the cad yellow and the cad red. What was that, babe? Oh, okay. took the cad yellow and the cad red and mixed it in with some yellow ochre and zinc white and started to create some of the little fur, and we were using brush strokes that go over. I don't know what's happening with the curtain. Okay. All right. So now it's like the curtain's going, ah! So now I'm going to want to put this in to his little nose here, just the beginnings of it. I'm going to do an interesting thing though. Even though his fur is quite white, and it is going to be quite white, I'm going to use a little bit of my ultramarine blue to kind of cool and tint this white. It won't be the brightest white that I have. And I'm not going to do my fluffing on it yet. I just want the first part of that to be on here.
This is just sort of this under fur.
Is under fur. And when you're painting a white animal, it's important to remember that you're very rarely painting just white or black. It's true for either. I'm going to have to get into a round brush. But I'm going to be real general here right now, and I'll get more specific about it in a minute. Maybe even a little more into the ultramarine blue as we come down. Because that gives us a nice shadow that we can really control and build up on. And it's okay if I take the fur out just a bit, because we definitely want to get some of the value in. And it's weird, you know, on here it looks quite bright, but that little cast of blue is going to be our friend. We'll definitely kind of layer this out. See, I'm kind of flicking the brush and layering it out.
Yeah.
We definitely want to kind of do that, pulling that down. Pull it down deep. And even as you go down, you can kind of pull more blue into it. See what I'm doing?
Yeah.
My goal is to cover what's underneath, create a cool, neutral surface here. I'm going to put a lot of clover up here. I am. Right here where the chin's going to be in shadow, I'll just use a lot more blue. A lot more blue. And maybe we'll talk just a bit about what's going on right here. And we'll definitely be layering that into the white and things. It's just nice to start to know that it's there. There we go. The beginnings.
We got a really wonderful support from Madeline out here, who sent a cool little pair sticker. Says, "Thank you for being
I gotta
you."
pair it up. Bubble it.
You
Oh,
pair it up?
look at that.
Ooh,
He's
look
already
at that,
bunnied up.
bubbles.
Bunny up.
Little bunnies looking good.
Just a little bit. You gotta bunny up. Just a little bit. Just making sure I'm not cleaning off my whole paint table. Thank you for your pairs. I'm so weird. Weird on a Saturday is a good way to be.
That's good. You know, when we got a fillery bunny here to
We
visit.
do have a fillery bunny. Oh, I love the Magicians. So loving this season. I am.
Turned out pretty good. That little bunny's starting to look shocked.
He's starting to feel shocked. He's got the beginning of a shock about him, but I don't know that he's shocked enough, guys.
You have an air of important messaging about you, bunny.
I'm going to take my number 4 round and I'm going to mix it into my ultramarine blue. And I'm going to start thinking about this little eye here, as you do. That's quite lovely. Thinking about it. It's not perfect, but we've got it kind of in our thought processes. I'm going to go ahead and do my magenta and my yellow ochre because it makes such a nice white fur undercolor. And again, one of the things to realize is that right here at the nose, even when I'm putting fur on there, it is important that I have that pink. Now, if I look at how his nose works, we've got a little nostril side over here, and it's kind of downward facing and kind of comes over to the side this way. little bit in perspective. We will need to move in pink fur, but it's just nice to have that underneath it. Now I'm also going to go ahead and get a little bit of black. I may tone it with brown. I'm going to come under here. And paint this little bit of shock shadow. For sure we'll need more fur in it. And it's kind of weird when you first do it, but it will help. And then I'm going to bring a little dark value coming up through the nose, which again, later will be super helpful. So right now he's sad bunny. Woo! I'm going to go ahead and just take this right into my magenta. Kind of does a nice bit of getting that little maybe orange line happening there. Now here, I'm going to go ahead and grab some of my titanium white that has been toned with the ultramarine blue. And I'm going to add this little marking right here, little marking on the ear. Take it here, and I'm going to show you a little trick. I'm going to make just the edge of this little ear fuzzy using that brush stroke. Isn't that nice?
Mm-hmm.
A little bit fuzzy. Oh, sure, there'll be more happening, but that's just great to start with. The main mix, though, if you remember, is the cad red, the cad yellow, and the yellow ochre for the fur. His fur over here is a bit lighter, so I took some zinc white. I'm going to come here and finish out this little ear. I'm going to blend this using that little kind of fur stripy stroke. I know I've got lots of fur to do here, but I got to get this going now. These little feathers off, they're light, they're minor, they're detail oriented. Far away you don't notice them, but they are important to how your eye perceives everything.
The
I'm gonna
flow.
get some.
You mean the directionality of the brush?
And just the way that the ends of these kind of are not, it's not a smooth line, it's this little kind of feathered, jagged line. Important stuff later when you're trying to say something is fuzzy. So it's a weird little line there. It matters. While I've got my titanium white into some of my fur color, I'll do some interesting stuff. I'm going to come here. My ear is going to have some of this. This little center line of the ear has a bit of noticeable fuzz. What? Yeah, totally. If you need more water in your brush, go ahead and get it. And then even inside here, there's a bit of it. Take that along there. I can get into my darker fur color. And I'm going to tip the edge of this ear with that darker little fur color. So what we have is that little highlight coming up here, a little bit of a lighter value of the fur color on the inside of the ear and the outside of that with the darker fur color. All right. Now I'm going to come up the ear. This ear really shows a lot more fuzz. So I'm going to let my little brush really be playful here. You see how I'm doing?
Mm-hmm.
A little bit playful around the ear. If I need to, I can run a little another layer of a deeper value of the fur right here into that ear. Rinse out. I've got my magenta. Let's get a lot more titanium white into it. I still want it to be pink though. Just maybe a slightly lighter value. And then as I'm coming down, let's dry brush some of this in. That's looking pretty good. He's got some fuzz inside of his ears now, doesn't he?
He certainly does.
You know? Sure that there's a nice transition between these. And we've got this great shadow, which another thing that you can do is you can take a little bit of your ultramarine into your magenta. I'm going to dip in my water. All right. So just trying to roll those values into the space that I have. How's that doing? How are you guys doing?
This is great. This Bunny's looking a little shocked, a little ghostly here.
Ghostly Bunny?
Like,
His fairies have gone crazy and fillery.
yeah.
But upset Bunny.
That's a little shocked Bunny.
Man, people need to leave fairies alone. That's what I'm saying. That should be a very clear message. Beyond all reason. Nothing else is clear. That should be clear. I'm going to get this kind of wet. I'm going to go ahead. I'm so sorry to bug you. You know what I did, babe?
What's that?
I forgot to bring out all the little water jugs.
Oh, that's okay.
I may need a little water in a bit.
We can take care of that.
I'm just adding a little bit of this here. And you're going to see me kind of pulling this out on my number 4. These little light guard hairs right here. You're amazing. He's amazing. Stun Hands is amazing. Grabbing a little yellow ochre. And you can see him just on the toe. Lots of S curves. So when I say S curve, all I'm meaning is that the brush stroke kind of has an implied S curve in it. See how we're doing? That's how we're kind of getting that little fur effect, because we don't want like a straight line. So there we go. Looking good, looking good. I'm going to continue to pull that fur color around the top of his head. I may add a little white and a little yellow to my mix as I come through here. It is important to have water. So something is up where I'm underfilling all the water things. Oh, I'm okay. Just noticing it's a thing I'm doing. I'm going to pull this little brush stroke up. And it sort of layers. All right. It's going to come right into the white fur because I'm going to have to layer this white right over it. This top part, however, is its own zone. Think of it as like bunny bangs. When you look at him, he's got sort of like these little crazy bunny bangs. Don't forget your bunny bangs. We're getting a little bit of that value happening up there, right? You need more white in it. A little more yellow, you can always get that. Little bit of bunny bang. Look at that bunny bang. Bunny bang. Fur layering is a very important part of our day. Maybe not, but it is what we're doing this Saturday is layering fur. I'm going to add some yellow ochre to my mix. I'm going to come here and continue right across this ear, right? There is a distinctive line here, but I do want to paint into it, even though I'm going to put it back in just a second because I need the layer. Need more yellow? You can always grab more yellow. Just pulling that up. Okay.
This is a number 4 round?
Number 4 round, just painting on the toe. I'm not painting every hair, but I am painting the shape and texture of the hair.
Hmm.
Now we need to sort of refine that a bit, right? I'm going to take my yellow into my fur color, but I'm going to use a bit of my white because I want it to be highlighted. And if you need to thin it, thin it. Thinning it with water is always good. Light color. Let's come out here and really exaggerate these things. Fine lines, aren't they?
Mm.
The wind says no. I will reload every time I'm like, oh, my brush isn't really grabbing paint the way I would like it to. Look at that going out there. This bunny is having a whole little moment. His fur, super furry. When I'm doing kind of a shadow value of the fur, I'll be like maybe a little more biased red and I'll grab some of this brown. So it kind of makes a deep value. And then right here, I'm going to add a little bit of that shadow. Where the short hair is sort of blending into the longer hair. And then there's this really interesting like deep value that's right here underneath. And you can even grab, oh, just a smidge, be careful with it, of black. You wouldn't want to do a lot. Kind of talking a little bit about that. A little more back into the brown and red. And very interestingly, from the top of the eye and then through here, there's a bit of this deeper value. Compared to the rest of his fur, is all we're saying. I'm going to bring this around mostly because I know I'm going to add a highlight to that. So we've added this fur right here, right? This top fur.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's the layer.
It's looking kind of
shocked.
shockety shocked up there.
Shockety shocked. Don't shock back. All right. He's going to be one of our favorite pieces when he's done.
He's looking pretty good.
His cuteness. He will get cuter. Cuteness has happened. Cuter is coming. Cuter or tutor, or we like him so much. All right. Now, back here, we have the little out of focus fur. That's fine. But we are going to kind of want to work this lower ruff of fur. So this fur off to the side, I'm loading with a bit of my ultramarine and my white. I'm thinning with water so that I can get a nice little bit of a glow. This is a little bit in shadow though, so that's why it's more blue. And I'm going to make some exaggerated...
I'm going to have to look over your shoulder there.
Little hairs. Move out of John's way. Paint at the back of my brush if I need to. There's also over here a bit in shadow too. I'm just using the tip of the brush. I'm just trying to pick out just a few little hairs that show. Not every hair. Just something that feels doable. As I'm moving through here, I may switch to my cat's tongue again. That's a little more full. All right. So I'm going to switch to my cat's tongue again. and I'm going to get some more of my titanium white onto it. I'll thin it with some water so it flows off the brush. You could always use fluid white if you wanted to. If you're like, I really don't want to be thinning paint all day. I'm going to add this quite bright run of strokes. I'm making, again, you can see the S-curves happening. I'm not going to worry about getting too close into the chin because I will piece that out with my smaller brush. Right now, I just want to get that feeling of the fur and the correct values and things. Sometimes you can even get a little bit of your yellow into your white and come in and create little spots of, even though it's not brighter white, because it's a little bit yellow, it'll pull forward a little bit, look a little like a couple pieces of sunlight got in there. Not a lot though, guys. You gotta be cautious and careful with it.
Well, Barbara says she absolutely loves this bunny.
Does Barbara love the bunny?
She is being a wonderful supportive patron, so I have to say thank you, Barbara. I appreciate it. And to all of our patrons out there, and to everybody sharing and liking and subscribing and ringing the bell and doing all that kind of stuff. Thank you.
Let's give Barbara some bubbles. I want to give. Do you have the bubble thing? There's the bubble thing.
You got the bubble gun thing.
I got the bubbles in me. I got the bubbles in me. Okay, he's looking really cute now, isn't he?
He really is.
You can kind of see the highlights in the fur. You can kind of see how his values are coming forward. And I think this is going to help you, if you've been painting white fur, have a sense of a way that you can do that and how that might be done, right? So that's always kind of nice. Now I will switch back into my number 4 round because I want a bit of control over what happens next. So I'm going to get into my lighter color. And I'll bring this forward a bit because I know I've got to cast a shadow under his chin and on one side of his little bunny lip. But I'm never going to get there if you can always make some interesting little pieces of fur whenever you want to if you have the small brush. So I've got to give myself some room to do that. And I know I can paint over it. So it'll be easier for me to layer it if I do that. It's having a good thing now. He's got a bit of a shadow under his chin, doesn't he? I'm going to come in with a little of my strong ultramarine blue. It comes down. It comes back. And just very gently, my advice is to just take the tip of this, and because we do need to leave the dark value, but I'm going to make sure that there's kind of a fuzzied edge. And I'm going to also make sure that there's some kind of dark right here. Even coming across here, a little bit of dark. And then the other place we're going to want a little bit of our darker color, even right here. Because we're trying to say that something is in shadow. Sometimes it's nice if we don't say it with black. I can come back in. There's an interesting thing that happens under his chin. I'm going to get a little more white on my brush. And right here, I'm going to put in a bit of a slightly lighter highlight. Can you guys see that? And that's some of his little bunny chin coming just forward into the light, maybe a bit, but not totally. Just a little bit. Little micro adjustments are nice. Picture of that. Sure, we have plenty of pictures, but just to make sure. Right, Mr. Cooney?
I like the bunny.
You like the bunny? I like the bunny. I've been wanting to paint the bunny for a long time.
Yeah.
Now, you can remove all your chalk grid while we're letting everything have a little bit of a rest. I'm going to take some clean water and a soft brush, and while everything's drying, I'm just going to remove my chalk grid.
You're just using water to do that?
Just water and a soft brush.
Oh.
I don't really need the grid anymore for anything, so it's a great time to remove it.
You're bunnied up.
So things you want to avoid when you're gridding is pressing too hard, because that can leave marks and stuff. But remember, you can always come back with lots of things. Like if I felt like there was a little mark there, look. Just immediately got rid of it with just a little bit of a glaze. This is not even a thing. Look at Mr. Bun Buns. Mr. Bun Bun loves you. You don't know he loves you, but he does. Mr. Bun Bun loves us all. Mr. Bun Bun needs some more shadow for under his whole kind of lip, though. So we're going to bring this here while we're at it, because that's a bit of our shadow fur. And we'll come back with some brighter pink. When you have that rough, you can start to do this part of the fur. So let's begin here, because right here is layered behind this fur. So that's the easiest one for us to paint, right? What's our fur color? We know it's our yellow and our red and a bit of ochre. I like to find all little variants of it. I'm going to come up his little head here with some little furish marks on my number 4. You can see that those kind of blend into where he has a little shadow. Because why wouldn't they? I'm going to start adding a little of my titanium white to this. And create a few little values. Sometimes like I'll get too dry of a brush and I'll go to make a mark and I can't because the brush is too dry. And you'll see me go back and go, oh, darn it. My brush is too dry. There we go, that's not bad. I've got a little bit of a brow happening there. Back into our main colors. A little more yellow. Over the top of his eye. And make sure you've got enough flow to get it off your brush. That's always the struggle, right? Let's come up here with a little bit of a highlight. Maybe even more of one. A little bit of a bunny highlight. A bit of a little bunny highlights right here. And he's got some wonderful bunny highlights coming under his eye. More bunny color. More fur bunny color, right?
More fur bunny color.
And let's give him a little bit of a highlight right there. And even though we know a lot of white fur is going to go over it, we should solidify some of this right here.
Just to give him some bunny fur consistency.
Bunny fur consistency. But you can see that his fur is starting to be a thing.
It really is.
It really is. Super fun. Fuzzy bunnies with surprise faces are the most fun to paint for all of us.
What brush are you moving on to now?
I'm still on my number 4.
Okay.
No moving on. I've moved on nothing. Nothing has moved on. I'm going to just start creating these longer, more noticeable furs. And what you're seeing me doing is just constantly adjusting that flow of the brush. Here we're layering this over the white fur. Bring it forward a little bit. I can always get a little more yellow and red into the orange. Lots more white. This next little run is our fur color, but with a lot of white on it. And it will Mr. Bun Bun, you're so cute.
I like it.
Little lighter hairs. Look at that, little lighter hairs. Is he fuzzy enough? I don't know. What do you think, John? How fuzzy is your bunny?
I think so. He's looking pretty fantastic.
Super fuzzy.
Little fuzzy layers are coming in.
Give your bunny time to grow the fur.
He's got some ghostly eyes there.
He does. And a weird nose right now. And also, he's floating in a green field. Much is happening. Sometimes a lot is going on, right?
We'll work it out.
We'll work it out. So I'm going to take a little bit of my orange, my yellow ochre, thin it so I know I have nice fur color. Now, interestingly enough there, this kind of comes out. But we can always grab a little more white. And another trick I can do is if I'm sick of thinning white, I can pour out fluid white. That's a this is the golden fluid acrylic, very similar to craft paint. Craft paint will kind of do this too, where you just want to improve the flow of your paint without adding water consistently. This will do that. I'm just trying to show the little fur that has come off over here. A little bit of that bangs there, but a little bit of the fur off to the side, right?
Yeah, he's super cute.
Because he's super cute. And you can always get a little brown. You need to exaggerate a little shadow in your fur. Not bad. Not bad at all, my friends. Now, Mr. Bun Buns also has his nice little nose that we've got to do. I'm going to grab a little bit of my ultramarine, but I do want quite a light color for the nose. And the reason we want a light color for the nose is the nose is quite light, isn't it?
Yeah.
Much like the ears, this is a very small fuzzy stroke, but it's essential.
How you thinking that's coming in? I know you got your focus on the fur.
I have my focus on the fur. I'm trying to be very delicate around this spot. Because we have a little bit that's happening here where there's just a micro amount of shadow that we get to express the shape of what's going on. I'm going to take my brush to help me from not getting overwhelmed, and I'm going to come dot right here. And that's going to let me make small decisions so I can change my mind if I need to. Those S brush strokes are important, my friends.
Yeah.
You can see me sometimes grab some fluid paint for some.
Very cute little bunny.
He's so cute.
Are you gonna put a little hint of his eye, his left eye, in there?
He doesn't actually have a hint of his left eye in there. That's dark fur.
Mm.
A lot of people might think it is, but eyes would never be at this angle. Eyes would always be at this angle. So if you did, that's a thing you might not know as a new artist. You might see a dark shadow of fur and think, oh, that must be a hint of the eye. But it wouldn't be there. It would be right across here. So if we did see the eye, if his head was turned any more towards us, it would be showing right there.
Gotcha.
But you wouldn't know that if you were very, like, starting out. You'd have no idea. Get a little bit going there. Is good. Let's come here. And we kind of have a similar thing going on here. We're going to come right here and we're going to feather it out. There we're doing.
Yep.
And then some funny stuff is going to happen along here. Look at that.
Sometimes you're really fast there getting your paint. So
Yeah, I'm just grabbing more white. I'm just raising some of the values around some of these brighter spots. Making sure his little shock face is a little bit fuzzy.
Mm.
I got to do some pink. I got to do some certain things, but it's important to make sure the shock face is a little bit fuzzy. I'm coming back. I did tint a little bit with my blue because I have a lot to do here to make sure that this part of his little nostril space feels like it's separated. So I have to make sure that I've got shadows that I can see. Against my highlights. And they will be small, but important. And kind of see there's a bit of a shadow there that I'm working. I'm being very gentle with my white paint around where the pink is. And I will probably go back and add a little pink into that space. But can you guys see his little nose now?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Look at him
Very
go.
cute little nose.
Very cute little nose.
He's looking very
cutie cute.
well. He's still a little ghostly. He's very cute, but very.
I don't think he's ghostly.
And that eye, he's looking at you like, I just have this one eye to look at you with. It's a little creepy eye.
It's not creepy. It's beautiful blue eye. What are you even talking about? I disbelieve your comment. I'm going to take a little bit of my Cad Red and my quinacridone. Mix those together. They're a really wonderful color combo. They kind of bring each other almost into a quinacridone red, sometimes I feel. I'm going to take a bit of this on my number 4 round. Come in on the tip. A little bit. Now, things that I can do, I can add a little Cad yellow and my tinting white. And I can get some lighter values. I may want to get a little more tinting white into that. I'm going to put a little highlight right here. Maybe a little one right there. They should still be distinctly pink. Shouldn't stop being pink. A very light kiss of pink that's right here. Between at the nose here. See what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
A little light kiss of pink. It's important. It's important because this is pink. Taking some just white paint and, giving myself some like pieced out very specifics to exaggerate his little fur. We're just coming over with just this white, guys. And you can kind of see how everything underneath it, I'll feather blend right there. Just let us get that next layer. Who wants to do an eye?
I'm ready for the eyes.
Are you guys ready for the eye? Do you like the nose and the mouth?
The eyes have it.
The eyes have it. I'm worried that he has enough shock.
Oh, I think he's got plenty of shock happening.
You sure? Let me increase the shock right here
Bunny
just a little
shock.
bit. So I'm just taking blue to kind of increase the shadow so he's a little more shocked. Now, I'm going to take my phthalo blue, interestingly enough. I'm going to come here underneath the lid and coming forward. About here, I'm going to use my phthalo blue. Almost like a glaze. Just because it's so transparent. And then I might get some of my white. I'm going to tap in back into that little phthalo blue a bit. See how we're kind of doing?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to wipe out, and I'm going to get a lot more white. Outside of that eye, almost white. Get back into my blue. I will, because I'm just going to keep playing. Now you can always replace anything you lose, right?
That's looking much more bunny-like eye.
Now our bunnies will have a dark value underneath their eyes. So I may even take a little bit of my blue and black together. I'm going to come underneath this lid. With a very fine shadow.
Ooh.
That nice shadow
Yeah.
underneath the lid. And I'll go ahead and get some more of my black on my brush. Actually, let me dry this real fast. And the reason I'm going to dry it is I don't want any of the white in this yet.
Okay. Yeah, and she's going to make sure that she dries that thoroughly so that when she puts the next layers of highlights and things on, that they're going to not muddle up with the paint layers below it. And she wants them to be nice and crisp, so sometimes it's just necessary to go through and make sure you thoroughly dry between those two layers. And that's what you see her doing there as I fill the time. So.
Oh, I had one question for the community. So
What's that?
I'm going to put him in clover because I think that's going to be the cutest. Now I can do white clover and I can do pink clover. What clover would everybody like to see while I'm painting in this little eye? Improving my flow. Any color clover. It could be white too. White will be real pretty. And I can do some white and some pink too. There we go. I've got a bit of that. Yeah, his eye's looking really good. Now I'm going to get into a little of my blue, white, and gray. And just a little bit in here, I'm going to add just a bit of that kind of towards the bottom. It's not a highlight you easily see. It's just something that your brain picks up on, that there's some light going into the pupil and your brain goes, oh, that's good. The light should go into the pupil and that's a wonderful thing. I'm going to go ahead and grab some just white on just a bit of my brush. I'm even like, look, I'm even kind of off-whiting right there.
Everyone's saying pink, please, or both.
Pink or both. All right, let's do both. That way you guys have some options. There we go. That eye looks very good. Very live, very awesome. So let's start with some pink. I feel a little cad red and a little magenta is a good place to start. They make a wonderful color. I'm just using the white that I have out. Let's put some slightly distant bits of clover.
Oh.
You can always get darker colors as you go down, but you can see what I'm doing is I'm just pulling little
Pink clovers.
bits. You can get, change it up.
After you get a few pink clovers in there. Once you get our clovers in there, we're going to say thank you to our community.
All right, we can get just a few. But can you see I'm just like sort of touching these?
Yeah.
These are ones that will be a little more buried in the greenery, and then we'll say thank you, and then do some more in white and.
Get white ones in there too.
Oh no, I can.
Just want to make sure I zoom in there so they can see that you're just putting little touches there to make those
little touches.
There we go. I'm going to take a quick look around there. I'm going to say thank you to, I think it's Arena, and to all of the folks out there helping support our patronage. We really support you guys. Appreciate it. Make it possible to do all the things we do. And for everyone else who can help share, comment, like, subscribe, click the subscribe button.
If you haven't thought of it,
click all the things.
1,000 free art videos. We're going to do 1,000 more. So it's a good investment in your future if you want to paint for free. For free. Subscribe. There'll be bubbles. And we'll know that these bunnies belong in Fillory. And that makes us awesome, right?
Yep.
That we know that. There's my palette. Okay. So I'm going to continue to do little bits of, I'm going to put out some more fluid paint because it's just enjoyable for me. You can just thin more titanium white. There we go. So let's do some whites. I'm going to take my ultramarine. It's such a nice, and maybe even a smidge of my Quinn. And I'm going to make some white-based ones. They're kind of in the distance. Or in the shade. Those are nice. They're not totally in focus, but they're there. I'm definitely going to want to load up my green. A little burnt sienna. And maybe even some cad yellow. So we've just got some values. And let's put in some leaves that are somewhat defined, but maybe a little distant, right?
Yeah.
They're there.
Ah, a little flowery. This is definitely a definitely shocked little bunny. It's like, you will not believe what's happening in Fillory, is what this bunny definitely says.
The bunny's like, there's no way to explain it to you. Now I'm going to get a little bit of my yellow. I'm going to mix a light value in, and I'll go ahead and kind of get some of my fluid white into it. We'll make some distinctive stems, shall we? A little more yellow, a little more white. Some nice little stems that are thinking about something. A little more of my green. Grab some yellow. I like to change up the green values, and we are joining the green into stems, but we're just implying the stems.
And it just helps to have a little bit of that stem back there to fill in the brain.
To fill in the brain. I like that wording of it. We're filling in the brain. This is sort of a pull leaf. It's pretty chill. While I'm here, I can go ahead and get a little more white onto my brush and rinse out, and I can add maybe a couple little highlights to my distant white clovers and even my pink ones. Just a little bit of value.
Everybody loves how fluffy this bunny is. Super fluffy bunny.
That's why he needs extra flowers, right?
Extra.
And if you have time and you know how to do Fuzzy Bee, I would give Fuzzy Bee a try too.
Wow. Yes, definitely. If you have not seen Fluffy Bee, go to our website. It's a link in the description down below. It's TheArtSherpa.com. Click on videos on the toolbar, and then type in bee in search, and you'll be able to see that. And I'm gonna say to Denise, who says, "Hi, Cinnamon and John. I love that bunny. He is so fluffy." Guess what? I am crocheting, and you know what? Saying crocheting is not an easy thing unless you're familiar with that word. And
unless you want to say you're a hooker.
That's true. So
first time I found that out, I thought that was the best thing I ever heard. I was like, I ran around crocheting. They're like, "What do you do?" "I'm a hooker."
Well, it's better than when you misread crocheting and say it's crotcheting.
That's a John activity. I think like all of the art forms are really cool, and it's especially exciting to me. I don't crochet. I mean, I can do a chain stitch and a few like loop stitches. But like my mother-in-law can really crochet. My sister-in-law can really crochet, and that's always really fun to see because it's like, I don't do it, but I love the art form of it.
I crochet all the time. I crochet all of my
cables. That doesn't count.
My power cable.
My husband has long had an argument that crocheting the cables counts
because you can just pull the cable and they unwind, and it's a Boy Scout trick. So anyway, so Denise was saying out here, who's super supportive of us in our patron group here. She says that she's crocheting a bunny right now, but now she wants to paint this. And she thinks
awesome to crochet the bunny and paint the bunny.
She thinks it's beautiful as usual, and she really appreciates how great of a teacher you are and would like to send big hugs to you.
Thank you.
So it was a super big chat from her and a super big message and super generous support. So thank you, Denise.
We just appreciate it so much. You guys don't even know, like pretty soon after April or sometime in April, we'll get to tell you all what you actually supported. I think you will be surprised at all the goodies you contributed to that you may not even know that you contributed. I'm going to grab a little bit. I'm going to do my pink clovers in front of the bunny because they'll show best. Right? That's what's going to show really well is the pink clover. Red Rover, I like a pink clover.
This bunny is shocked to be in this field. It was just clearly done the fillery fall.
Time traveling talking bunnies are awesome.
You know this bunny's gonna say something like "send chocolate."
When
now.
they all speak in a really like crazy like low tone. I like that too.
Like they're all from the cast of Supernatural.
Yes, all the bunnies are from Supernatural. Oh, that would be a good crossover event. I know it's completely different networks, but sometimes I wish different networks would cross over.
Sam and Dean show up in fillery. It just goes bad for everybody.
just kill everything.
It just Deed's just shows
Dark
him
One
leaving.
Who? That was like a morning.
Deed'd be like, you know what? Fairies don't taste too bad.
But to be really honest, I don't think they'd get the difference between magicians and witches. And
nope, they wouldn't care at all.
Everybody would get slayed. I'm just wanting to put a bunch of pink flowers in, so I'm kind of going a little pink flower crazy, guys. I hope you don't mind.
And Stephanie Barlow's here. She's saying,
"Hey, Stephanie!"
Sending a wonderful little cute message here from our patron chat, saying she's so cute she had to pop in and say hi and thank you. So thank you guys for coming and being with us here with our Margot the cute fuzzy bunny.
I'm having a good time.
I'm enjoying it too. Pushing the wrong buttons. There's a button.
Sometimes it's nice when you're doing flowers to also put small strokes of color here that kind of imply little somethings, you know? I'm going to get some yellow on my brush. Hopefully that is, and some white. And add some of that to some of these. Not all of them, but just some color. And now what I want to do is I want to get my number 8 out, and I'm going to put out a little more green and a little more burnt sienna, and I don't think I need any more cad. And I'm going to do some up close. That's purple. Don't put out any purple. It's not useful.
I'm going to give an art high five to Cupcake and say, you know, Cupcake said, I am in love with Sherpa and John. I can't say how much you guys have changed my life and positivity that you send in the world. You know, Cupcake, you guys change our lives. You make it just couldn't begin to tell you how positively our lives have changed for being part of your lives. So thank you very much.
It really has been incredible. I'm going to put these bubbles on for Cupcake and all of you.
Yeah.
For changing our lives. I love that I get to share my favorite thing with you guys in this way all around the world. And we get to have an art family. And we get to be excited about painting. And we get to be as excited about our first painting as our 300th painting or 500th painting. I'm not exaggerating because we have people celebrating 500 in Art Sherpa Official who started with us at like 1 painting. Mm-hmm. So it's a journey. I haven't had anyone do all of them yet.
Yeah.
No. That would be really crazy. I keep thinking that someday somebody's going to like do the Sherpa challenge, which will be to paint everything I've ever painted. Doesn't that feel like that could be a thing that happened?
I think that like that would, I don't even know how you could do that.
So what I'm going to do is I do big strokes, right? Up here. Everything is big. And that will kind of talk about this being a layer that's closer. See how I'm doing that? By having big petals up close, we are really changing.
The focal plane.
Yeah, doesn't it?
Yeah. I'll wait for you to flip it sideways. There we go.
Gonna mess with you because I just did that to actually mess with John, but hopefully you can see. What I'm demonstrating to you is the idea that I don't move myself, I move my canvas. So if I need to have better access to something, I'm not going to move me, I'm going to move my canvas. Now I'm going to take a little bit of my cad yellow, but I mix it into where I've had the burnt sienna.
Oh, and you put a little highlight on some of those.
Yeah, because some of them need highlights.
Jessica says, thank you for your amazing painting lessons. I'm falling in love with y'all. You make painting look so easy. It's helped change my life as well. Thank you. But thank you too, Jessica.
Thank you, Jessica. Isn't it amazing how painting transforms our lives?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I can have the worst day in the world and get to my easel and just spend a little time there. And even if I paint a really sad painting, at the end of it, I'm a little bit lighter. I can put a little bit of what I've got going on onto that. And it's a powerful thing. I got to give Jessica bubbles. Jessica, these bubbles are for you.
There's bubbles. There's bubbles enough for everyone. So thank you, Jessica. Thank you for making
This would be a
bubbles
pretty
possible
painting
today.
with bubbles in it.
Yeah.
It would. Oh my gosh. We used to do stuff like after shows where we'd be like, now we will do the bubbles. Like crazy extra painting.
Now, Donna asks a
Hi,
really...
Donna. I'm just getting a little bit of white and more yellow, guys.
This is a really good composition question, especially if you're new to painting.
Hmm.
Why didn't you center the bunny?
Well, so everything you do on the canvas has an emotional impact. And if everything is centered on the canvas, even if it's quite ornate, it's actually very static and stable.
I can even show it with you on the surface.
Right.
You see,
yes.
I can go.
But when things are off center, it gives us a bit of a sense of drama and dynamic energy. Right. So see, I'm like, as I change focus, sometimes people call that, they'll talk about that in terms of rule of thirds, which actually isn't a rule. That's an urban myth, but it is a good design sensibility to think
There's
like, where am I
centered.
putting the, see, I'm very centered. Right. And when I'm centered, I'm very connected to you, right? Like when
Right.
it centers in on me and I'm talking to you, I'm talking right to you. Do you feel talked to? Really? Okay, that's just too much reality. Nobody needs to see all that. But
We can't go over here and show
nobody
the
needs to see that on HDPT with 48 inches of screen over their casting. Nobody needs that.
But we generally break you into a bit thirds too, don't we?
We do. Not because it's a rule of thirds, but it does create some dynamic interest into what we're doing. You know, like putting these lighter values around, create a little, didn't that last value just really make a big difference?
It did.
There we go.
You're gonna have to get to sign it now.
We get to sign it now. I loved my day with you guys. Thank you for today.
Yeah, everybody else has been loving this.
Can't wait to see all the bunnies.
They want to see more bunnies.
Do you guys
I
want to see more bunnies?
I can
I mean,
see.
this is like, we've done some bunnies.
There's
This
been
is
a
like
couple.
the third bunny. I think this is bunny number 3 on the channel.
And if you want to find more, you can. Oh, my camera wandered away. If you want to find more bunnies, go to TheArtSherpa.com, click on videos, or go to TheArtSherpa.com/videos, and then click on search. And you can just type in rabbits, bunnies,
Bunny.
all sorts of things, and they'll all just show up there. You know
Look
why?
at that. That came out. Oh, I gotta get the last picture of it, don't I?
You
For the
get it
step
later.
by step, but
Get
I
it
can do it
later.
after the show. I
Later.
just love that. I just love it. Look at it.
It's turned out so good.
It's even better than the photo. And don't you love them when they're a little bit better than the photo? When they're just a little more,
Yes.
a little extra.
That was.
And
That's just amazing. That's my Margot bunny.
it's the Margot bunny. She forever will be known as Margot's bunny. 'Cause she's a woman, tough enough to deal with it. I won't say any stuff Margot says because it's family
It's my
show.
favorite
Character.
revisitation on language that I've ever seen. So,
Yeah, she's one of our favorite
great
characters, like ever.
Yeah.
You know, so we just love her a lot. And we love you guys a lot. I hope you love your bunny the way I'm loving my bunny today. And I'd like to see it. So please do share with me. Tag me in social media. You know, go on Instagram, hashtag it TheArtSherpa so I can find it. You can tag me in directly. I don't mind. Pinterest, Twitter, Facebook. We have a group if you'd like a private place to share the Art Sherpa official. We have ways for you to show me on my page. I have a page. You can just put it on the page. I see it on the page. You can leave me a review on the page. Anything you want to do, I am looking forward to it. You can even go to the video link and put it in the comments below to show some other person who's finding that lesson for the first time how it worked out for you and tell them all about it. Be good to yourself. I'm going to bubble us out.
Okay,
This has been such a good show. Be good to yourself.
I'll see you guys.
Be good to each other. And we want to see you at an easel really soon. Bye-bye.
Bye.